right, like where it is cooking.
There you go.
England have to have a good day, otherwise India will take complete control of the first test. It's day 2. Welcome to Nottingham. So England winning the toss yesterday, bowled out for 183 after 65 overs and 4 balls. Joe Root top scored with 64, but it was all about India's bowlers, led by Bumrah with 4 for 46, 3 wickets for Mohammad Shami, and India getting to stumps unscathed. 21 without loss, trailing by 162. It was an excellent day for the tourists. Good morning to Michael. Kumar Sangakkara. I don't think India.
Well, I think the batters have got a tricky attempt
No,
today.
losing the toss and England choosing to bat was absolutely the right decision. It was a great day, good pitch. But the way the Indians just organized themselves, used the new ball, breaking through that first over, and then continuous pressure, great control of line and length. And they ended up on top. They just seemed better organized, better prepared, and much more confident than England out there yesterday.
From a former fast bowler's perspective, what impressed you with them yesterday with the ball?
Well, Shami was fantastic. Shami gave absolutely nothing away. He was very economical, which is what you want from your opening bowler. You don't want the opposition to get off to a flying start. He was brilliant. Bumrah, of course, got the first wicket, and that set England back. But the entire bowling attack, all 4 of them were fantastic. Wouldn't say spectacular, because the conditions were pretty good when you had the brand new ball in your hand. But they were very,
The batters are
very
trying
good.
to do
And
all
that's
they
what you're
can.
looking for when you pick 4 fast bowlers. You want them to share the workload and to share the wicket taking, and that's exactly what they did.
And highly skillful, as we saw with the first
Come on,
wicket. Rory
England.
Burns. Bumrah set him up brilliantly.
That's just very good bowling. And we showed during the broadcast, the live broadcast, the release positions were a little bit different from the delivery. It was fantastic.
What about it from a batting perspective? What would disappoint Marcus Trescotty, the batting coach, Chris Silverwood, whoever? Is it a lack of technique, a lack of preparation, or just in the face of some phenomenally good bowling?
I think a lack of
I feel
freedom.
like the batters have got a
Very
lot of land to do
restricted,
today.
starting from the top all the way down, except for that lovely partnership between Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow. Everyone else looked as if they were there to survive, bat a little bit of time, see how they go, rather than trying to dominate. Go out there and create a situation for themselves. So the shot selection, the crease occupation, all of that was probably with survival in mind. And you're not going to go anywhere. Test cricket or any other format. Run scoring.
Well, England have got a lot to do in the field today, haven't they?
And the more you restrict yourself, the more you doubt yourself, and the more you're looking for things to happen. And that's what I thought happened to England yesterday.
Well, how do you get yourself out of that mindset?
Well, I think it's a conversation, number one. Proper preparation is the
It says that
I do
11.
understand that when you're trying to establish yourself in the side in international cricket, it takes a while to continually doubt yourself until you get a good string of scores. But you need to break out of it, because the more you retreat, the worse off it becomes. So it's always better to go out there with the mindset of, I'm here to score runs. I'm going to make good decisions, look for the loose balls, and be tight in leaving and defense. Those are simple things that you practice and that you can do. But the more you let your minds wander to technique and whatever not, and am I in the side or what will happen to me, it doesn't get you anywhere. So I think England just needs to free their minds up, look to play cricket that they can control, and look to play cricket.
I feel like England have got a lot to do in the field today, haven't they?
It's an easy thing to say. It's
Orange.
easy to say. That's what you do. Put first innings runs on the board. At the top of the order, though, with Burns and Sibley, are they putting enough pressure back on the opening bowlers? Or is it
Well, not
becoming
really,
a
because
lead
Roy
for opening
Boots
bowlers?
went
Because
for
there's no
a
pressure
dog
on scoring.
yesterday.
And that is the problem that England have at the top of the order. And I
Well,
know
Sibley
Joe
got a
Root
little
is not
foul.
the bat at number 3. But I think everyone can concede that Joe Root is the best batsman in this team. You want someone who can come in at number 3, you want it. And if you get a good start, which you're hoping your openers will give you, you can then profit from that good start. But if you do not get a good start, if you lose an early wicket, you need someone good enough to come in to deal with that new ball and also put pressure back on the bowler to try and get your team back in a mentally good position. And that's
was impressive. We got 64 for us yesterday. So I feel like he's going to have a lot to give. Davis, captain.
I hear what Mike says about Joe Root batting three, but fundamentally, he doesn't want to do it. No. It ain't going to happen. So what can they do? I mean, I know Stokes isn't injured. It isn't here because he's taken some time away and has had his finger injury. Could he bat three long term?
Well, again, we go back. I would love Joe Root to bat three, but like you said, he doesn't want it. It ain't happening. I'm not sure whether Stokes is the right person. I would like Stokes to stay at 5. Johnny Bairstow, I think we
But he doesn't want to bat three.
Well, that's a problem. But there are certain things that you might not want to do, but unfortunately at this level, when you're playing in the side, you have to do, and you might surprise yourself in how well you do there and how much you do. You just got to relish the challenge. You can't have, like Mikey said, 3 young batters who are not as
No, but Dan Lawrence is a good batter.
make their way in Test cricket, come out there
Isn't
and
he?
bat in the top 3, because either way Joe Root is in early.
No,
and either
but
way the
when
side
I'm
is
saying
under pressure,
England have got good batters, they have got good batters.
putting pressure back on the bowlers is so important, and the batters just need to change their mindset. If you don't want to change your batting lineup, change your mindset.
Well, was the pitch to blame? Probably not, but Dennis Carter's been having a look this morning.
The last time I was here at this ground, there was something called the Jellygate incident that happened. It was something related to sweets. And yesterday was nothing but sweets for India. It was a really good day. The fast bowlers made best use of the conditions.
Oh
The
yeah,
fact that they lost the toss made it even easier for them. The fact that they bowled well summed it up. And India had a great day yesterday. Now let's have a look at the wicket. It looks very similar to yesterday. There's still a bit of live grass here, as you can see. But interestingly, there are a few ball marks that you can see, like the one here, which tells me that it's slightly dry. It's hard in the bottom, but it's slightly dry on top. And as the game carries on, the wicket will get drier and drier. It's going to be a very good batting wicket today. But England have 2 world-class bowlers in Broad and Anderson. They have the confidence, they have the expertise, and most
yeah.
importantly, they have the
Dimensions
experience.
report are good wicket
That's
takers.
what England would need today. India, just like England, slightly vulnerable with their batting. If they get a couple of wickets early, it's going to be a great battle between England and India.
He's got some style, isn't he? He brings a style to the program.
Definitely does. You wouldn't want him standing beside us.
Now, I had a socially distanced chat with one of the umpires, and he said, sort of backing up what DK was saying there, a little crusty at the top, little dents a bit more. How do you think that will progress as we move forward?
I think as we move forward, it should start to have a little bit of inconsistent bounce because of those dents that you have in the pitch. I was talking to Strauss yesterday, and I was saying that I think 10 millimeters of grass is just too much. But that gets the soil underneath properly rolled, in my opinion. And then with that 10 millimeters of grass, that new ball will start out. You'll dig the grass out, you'll leave through, and even if you don't quite get to the soil itself, you're still going to have those tools here, and that will create a big problem.
Okay, well, yesterday Charles said with Jasprit Bumrah, he was speaking earlier with Melbourne.
Jasprit Bumrah, I don't know who was smiling more yesterday. The pace quartet for India, Ravi Shastri or Virat Kohli. It was like nothing went wrong. Did anything go wrong on day 1?
Yeah, it was a good start. I guess the toss didn't go our way. Otherwise, we really bowled well at the back, created a lot of pressure early on as well. Yeah, in the middle, during the lunch session, before that, a lot of sun came out, so the wicket got flat. But during that time, we created pressure, and then later on, when the clouds came in, we was. So yeah, it was a good day, good start to the test match.
You're coming back from a back injury too, and often when players come back, there's a sense of wanting to feel some confidence in their body to be able to produce a good performance. For 46 years, you must be absolutely rapt with the way you got.
Yeah, the back injury was probably 1.5 years ago, so it's been fine for a long time. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to bowl and bowling in the English condition, bowling with the new ball, so where the ball does something. So in that, you could be greedy and you could try too much. So in that aspect, I was trying to focus on the things that I could control and trying to create pressure. So that would give you rewards, and that would force the batsman to make something.
You didn't let us settle in the commentary box. Everyone was just sort of settling down, thinking, okay, let's start this first session. And you got Rory Burns in the first over. Usually it takes some time to build up to try and work a batter out, but you did it in 5 deliveries. Was that the plan?
That was not the plan before going on, but as soon as I got the first ball, I thought to swing. I thought I'll try something as well. I've done that before in the past as well. So sometimes thinking on the go, how things are going and trying to be with the game. I was trying to do that.
And talk us through when the bowling quartet get together before a test match. Is it individual plans for each of the bowlers? And how does that work in with bowling and partnerships as well?
So there's a lot of discussion in bowling and partnerships. We do our bowlers meeting and try to create pressure because if pressure is only created from one end, it doesn't work. So we always try
I feel like they've got a lot to work on today.
try to help
You
them
just
because
tune up a
every
little
time we request and
fraction.
it puts the team into a good place.
Most of the commentary box and everyone watching was just in awe of the seam position of Mohamed Shami yesterday. It was absolutely perfect all the time. You don't specifically go with that sort of upright seam. Can you talk us through just your process in terms of the release of the ball and what you're looking for?
So for me, it's different.
That's
So when
better.
early on, if there is swing, I look for swing, I try to swing it. But if there's not a lot of swing, I don't go searching for it.
We're
And I
talking to
have
the Indian
my option
player.
of seaming the ball as well. So I try to
India.
keep my options open and try to assess the conditions. Shami is a lot different than I am. His seam is always upright. He tries to seam the ball a lot more than I do. So yeah, everybody knows their strengths and everybody tries to stick to them. So I think that was the plan by all the bowlers going forward.
There's also a little bit of chat there, always probably will be, about your unique bowling action and run-up. Was there a time where coaches actually tried to change your run-up to make it a little bit more longer and smoother? And when did you just say, no, this is me and I quite like it?
I think that was from the start when I started. A lot of the advices did come through, but I don't really follow because I felt that if I've done this for the longest period of time and I don't wanted to lose what I had, so I was trying to build up on my body. I wanted to be stronger and try to build up on my strengths and try to add things to my bowling. So I wanted to use it to my advantage, and I'm still trying to do that.
Where to for Jasprit Bumrah now? You're one of the elite bowlers in world cricket at the moment. Are you the type of bowler that wants to keep
I feel like
improving
we've got
and
more
tweak your
talent.
game as much as possible?
Obviously, because we keep moving forward, the batsmen
I think we've got more
nowadays,
talent in
with this
England.
day and age, a lot of technology, a lot of videos, always keep an eye and try to figure out what you're doing. So I try to improve my game each and every time, and I always try to add new things because that will always help me to move forward and always try to have one up against the batsman.
You spoke about the Duke's ball earlier on. When you put that ball in your hand in comparison to a Kookaburra, does your game plan change? Is there an excitement for the fact that you've got a bit more of a pronounced seam on the Duke's ball?
It changes a lot because when we play with the Kookaburra ball, the swing is not there for a longest period of time. So you have to seam the ball, you pull your lengths back, and it depends on wicket to wicket. But over here with the Duke ball, the swing is there for the longest period of time. So you could afford to go fuller and try to reduce the edge. So all of these things we try to keep in mind and try to adjust on the go.
I think most countries around the world are very envious of the depth of pace bowlers in India at the moment. Can you put your finger on why all of a sudden, Ravi Shastri has just this wealth of bowlers to pick from?
I think it's a combination of a lot of belief and a lot of hard work that we had put in 2-3 years ago, and we're reaping the rewards now. So all of us as a pack were working hard and trying to get fitter and trying to bowl as a unit. So for the longest time we wanted to do well in the away matches as well. So I think all of those things are coming into a combination and helping us today.
It was a great day for India in two sporting fronts, because great day on the pitch for you guys, but also bronze medal in the Olympics for your hockey team. It
Not
makes
yet.
sense that that's a really important thing because of the wealth of history in hockey in India.
Yeah,
Well,
we're keeping
the
an eye
whole
on the
test
Olympics. We always
Not for a while.
different,
It
but we try to
started.
keep an eye on the
Just
on the
finish
matches
at
and how
6.
it's going. So we're very
Yeah.
happy. We're keeping an eye. Whatever comes to the
Can't do
results,
it for a
we
long
always
time.
support our team.
No, but when you feel you want to pause, just stop
A lot
it
of effort
and
goes in for the 4
okay.
years that they prepare for the tournament. So
when
yeah,
you
always,
just stop it, just
always
stop
very
it.
happy and,
Just tell me when I get back.
whenever they achieve something, it's always a great feeling.
I'm sure they've got their eye on you guys
And I
as well.
can
All
do
the best.
some more
Thank you.
videos for you.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to the Indian hockey team. Don't worry, gentlemen, I'm not going to quiz you on your knowledge of hockey through the Olympics. In terms of, before we come back to specifically Bumrah the bowler, the collective unit of this bowling attack for India, they hunt in pairs, don't they?
Yes, they are very good together. The 4 bowlers that you have heard Bumrah playing there, it's all about the team, all about them getting 10 wickets. And that just reminds me of exactly what we tried to do in my time. We didn't really specifically, he has to get 5 wickets or he's trailing for 5 wickets. That means give him the ball more. Nothing like that from Clive now. Once we got the 10 wickets, which is exactly what they did, and they helped each other, as Bumrah said, they look at each other's game. They know each other's game, so they can look at each other and say, oh, this might be a little bit off, or that might be a little bit off, why don't you try this? And it's great to hear that.
He done orthodox, and that's fine. Now, it was very interesting when he said he didn't try and change his run-up because it was work, he didn't want to lose what he had. You played with one of the great bowlers that was unorthodox in Lasith Malinga. Now, in this country, probably some well-meaning coach in an indoor school somewhere would probably say, no, young man, you can't bowl like that. But he stuck to what has worked for him. And that mentally, that's quite strong as well, because there must be a lot of outside noise coming in when you are slightly different to say, do you know what, try this.
Yeah, absolutely, and it happens all the time. I think when your country produces unorthodoxy continuously, coaches get attuned and used to it, and then suddenly you have a mindset where you're actually looking for a point of difference and you're valuing it. But for Bumrah and for any other cricketer, you must understand what works for you, number one. We are constantly told by coaches, go speak to other players, go speak to other things, read books, read this, all of that. But at the end of the day, another person and his success cannot be just taken and copied for yourself because you're a different individual. So once you know what works for you as a cricketer, and you can see how confident Bumrah is every time he speaks, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. And he's got a good team of people around him who know what they are doing. And that collaboration is really working. So he's confident, he knows it's working, he sees it working out there, and he's committed to it. So wonderful to see, simple as it comes, really.
Well, he was excellent yesterday, as were India's bowlers. It was another tough day for England's batsmen. Next, two former England captains delve a bit deeper into the possible reasons why they're having problems at the top of the order.
Are you there, Chanel?
Do you want to stay up farming? It's a thing now.
Wonderful.
Go on a lunch faster. I dare you. I'm only 6. You figure it out. What's it gonna take for you to do something? Yeah.
Well, you're real. Climate change affects all of us.
This is your chance to do something good.
MGHS, the SUV for everyone who enjoys getting more out of life. More sophisticated design inside and out. More technology that helps keep you safe, secure and connected. And with petrol and plug-in hybrid options on offer, there's even more choice too. The MGHS, available now running 21,405 on the road. So why wait? Oh,
Set up foods.
maybe wait a few more
Keep it
years.
like that for now. Just keep the outfits.
Get more.
People maybe do outfits for like the video.
I've got more.
Nintendo Switch. Ever wondered how it would feel to win People's Postcode Lottery? Well, now's your chance. In our September draw, £7.3 million will be shared by players in one lucky postcode, our biggest ever Postcode Millions prize. And with a prize pot of £18.8 million, there's more cash prizes to be won when you sign up before midnight on the 19th of August. Why let your neighbours have all the fun? Join in for a daily chance to win. Go with us and get thousands of flexible booking options all in one app. Expedia, it matters who you travel with. At all protected.
Do you ever think of what your skin goes through every day? Dove Men Plus Care
I feel like I'm gonna go on lots of people today.
Action Moisturizer.
Haven't they?
Sky Store, you're in for a family adventure. Are you Peter?
That depends who's asking. My family's in trouble, and I'm gonna get them back.
Why not? We have a job to do.
Have some fun. This is crazy. These bad rap just like your dad. Did you miss me?
Peter Rabbit 2, available now in Sky Store, the ultimate movie collection.
Now, it's top the bottom in the women's 100 today. We're up at Old Trafford for the Originals against the Brave. That's a 3 o'clock start on Sky Sports Next. And at 6:45, well, the Southern Brave desperately need a win. They are 7th at the moment. A reminder, it's the top 3 that go through in both competitions. Now, we'd like to challenge our new colleagues here at Sky Sports Cricket, so we sent DK out into Nottingham.
I've been to Nottingham lots of times for the Indian cricket team. But this is the first time I'm coming here as a commentator with Sky. Look what they're making me do. They're expecting me to take this bike, go all around the Nottingham city centre, which I've never witnessed as a player. So I'm really excited about this. Unlock.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy is quite relevant out here in Nottingham. Whoa! Guess what? The real Robin Hood. How long have you been here for?
800 years.
What? The oldest inn in England. This castle was built in 1068. In case you didn't know, and I bet you didn't know. I didn't realize being a commentator I had to do this, but it was a lot of fun. Now, off to the cricket.
Wow.
I wonder where you disappeared to yesterday. You gone off for a pint at the trip to Jerusalem, haven't you?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
How did you find that?
Very good. Very interesting. They said I'm a commentator. I wasn't expecting that for sure.
When you signed up, did you expect to be doing things like that?
No. I need to increase my pay there. I'm doing things way beyond my comfort zone.
Well, let's go back to your comfort zone. What did you make of India yesterday? How impressed were you?
Extremely impressed. I thought they bowled really well. Bumrah being the leader of the pack set the tone first over of the day. And that's sometimes what you expect from the lead bowler. And after that, the rest of the guys, they just kept the pressure consistently through the time they bowled. Be it a Siraj, be it a Shardul. Shami we all know is good, but these two guys as well. Let's not forget Shardul played instead of Ashwin. So a little bit of pressure. Even yesterday when he spoke to Athers, he was saying that he played instead of Ashwin. He expected it, but blah blah. But he was very, a little bit under pressure being delivered.
Have you ever known India's bowling stocks to be this deep?
Now, I don't think overall, all round, in terms of medium pacers, I don't think there's ever been a better attack. There may be one or two in every attack, but this one, they were very well-rounded attack.
What about England's batting? Lack of technique? Mentally the wrong approach? How would you assess just the way they went about it?
I would think a mixture of a lot of things. A, the fact that they're probably technically not very well equipped. They haven't played red ball cricket in some time now. A lot of the guys are playing white ball cricket. It's two different things. That's two. For me, the third part is that a lot of these guys have very unorthodox techniques, but when they come onto the bat and when they come on to play the ball, they sometimes are late on it, and most importantly, they're losing out on scoring options. One thing being unorthodox, but you need to find ways to score runs.
Do you think that they need to then just have a bit more of a positive mindset as a general thing? I mean, you can't change technique overnight. Dominic Sibley's tried to make some adjustments, but that's over a period of weeks and months. Do they just need to show a little bit more intent?
Intent would be a better word. I think they are all thinking positively. They want to score runs.
10 minutes
But for them,
until
at this
the
point of time, they need to find ways
10
to
minutes.
score runs. They are forgetting the good bowling attack. Probably
Go,
the best
because
going
I
on
want to
the
see
world.
some
They
action.
just can't keep surviving. The wicket is giving the bowlers a lot. They need to find ways to score runs. They ignored
Well,
it.
they
Like
said
that crowd
all of
yesterday.
it.
No, because you can pause at any
The
time.
intent was there to
And
score here.
start
A couple of
some
cover drives,
videos
another
for
they
you.
could have got caught, but the intent was
Put
there.
on for you.
Well, they had a bad day yesterday. The bat being bowled out for 183.
Oh, yeah, we get to put some Man City on if we wanted to.
You can do it when I come back.
Yeah, we're going to try and provide
Do
some
it,
context
at
and
school if you want
understanding,
me to.
really, looking at a
Well,
number of
once
things
you get
that
some
affect
of the
a
playing.
Test match cricket, the conditions, the bowlers that you have to face, the specifics of England's batting yesterday, and perhaps the more general challenges
I
Oh,
can do
yeah.
my Man City when I come back.
these players. These
Manchester
days,
Derby
Well,
look
if you were
good.
sat in that England dressing room last night, 180 all out in 60 odd overs on the opening day, how would you have reflected on it? Clearly wasn't a good day for England, but how bad or indifferent a day
So I've
was.
got more
Well, I think
videos
the
for Joe
first
to
thing
do as
is,
well.
given that say 1 out of 5 test match series, the last thing you want to do is rush to quick judgments. And if I was part of that England management, I'd be saying, well, were there any positives to take out of the day? And the truth was, there were. At 138 for 3 just before tea, you'd argue England had done pretty well on a pitch that was offering something for those Indian bowlers. But unfortunately, of course, that final session, it was collapse time again for the England team. That put the team under a lot of pressure to the rest of this test match. But also, it's opened up this whole debate about England's batting fallibility. And therefore, each individual batsman from now on is going to be feeling pressure right from the start of the series. So I'd be very disappointed about that. England aren't out of this test match by any means, and the onus is on the bowlers to try and find a way back into the game. But they can't keep collapsing like they did yesterday. If you do that, against good teams, they're not going to let you back into the game.
They got.
But that's a lot of
Cricket more
focus
than most
yesterday because
sports
England worked so
is
good
affected
at
by
it.
conditions. One of a test
Were
match
they?
as a top order batsman,
Just not
you'd
our day
expect the ball
yesterday.
to move around a little, wouldn't you? It wasn't a
So three
straightforward day for
different
batting yesterday. We asked the
spots.
numbers men
Sky
to come up
Sports.
with how much movement there was
Goes
yesterday.
both for
And
100.
this suggests
Sky
almost
Sports
double the
cricket
amount of
set
global
still.
Yes, but
average
the corner
movement. So
goes
there's more
for
swing
100 because
movement,
the
much
100
more swing
is
movement,
on.
and a little more seam movement than you'd expect perhaps on the first day of a game. So a tough day for batting.
It was a tough day, and that's one of the issues about England leaving a bit more grass on the pitch. I mean, they want to contend with that Indian side. They don't want to give the spinners any opportunity to make their mark, so they're going to leave more grass on it. I thought it was a calculated risk by Joe Root to bat first, especially given that England didn't play a spinner. But that being said, the sun was out, and it was probably the right thing for England to go out and
Just
bat.
on that policy of asking the groundsman to leave 10 mils on, which I understand was a specific request from England. We heard earlier in the season that England wanted to play on flat wickets in preparation for Australia. They seem to have had a change of heart here, maybe because of the absence of Ben Stokes and the difficulties of balancing the side. Are you happy with the request to leave 10 mils on?
Yeah, I am. Look, I think England aren't in a situation to be looking too far ahead at this stage, and the Ashes are still a long way away. Right at the moment, it's about re-establishing that winning habit after a difficult winter. So there was sea movement. It was not impossible to bat on, as we saw, but you got the feeling that no batsman was ever fully in yesterday, and that was a combination of the pitch and, of course, good bowling from the Indians as well.
Well, let's talk about good ball. I mean, we're at the elite level here. Again, as a test match opener or top order batsman, you expect to play against good bowling. How good is this Indian attack? And let's have a look at the setup of Rory Burns here from Jasprit Bumrah, which showed tremendous skill in the opening over of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Right on the money, right from the start. I mean, it was pretty obvious what his plan was going to be. Go across Burns 3, 4, 5 times, and then Burns would have known at some point he was going to try and swing one back on him. But he got it absolutely right in the first over. And Bumrah, in particular, it seems like a very hard bowler to face. And that sort of
Got
stuff
5
you run
minutes
up,
until.
the quick arm where it's very hard to see
Maybe
what's going on.
it
It's
won't
a
be
bit of a
longer
burst. It
doing
comes out pretty
Stroll.
quick, and then he's got a brilliant wrist position as well. So he's going to be challenging on any surface, in any conditions, but particularly when the ball's swinging.
And Shami is more of a seam bowler. The presentation of the seam from him is absolutely perfect all the time. Do you think he knows which way he's trying to seam the ball, or he's just trying to hit that seam and then hope for a bit of movement
Yeah, I
either
think
way?
that's right. I mean, you see that seems pretty bolt up right there. So sometimes it's going to nip off one way and sometimes the other way. The thing about Shami is he gets very tight to the stump. So he's a very hard bowler to lead. He draws you into playing. You feel like the stumps are in play, LBW is in play, and of course the nick off as well. So two very different challenges, and that's what makes them a very potent opening bowling partnership.
Let's talk about the specifics then of the dismissals yesterday. Again, if you're in that dressing room last night and you're looking around the dressing room and there's a whole heap of batsmen there who scored 30 and given it away, you're probably very frustrated. But how many players were got out yesterday and how many gave their wickets
I feel like
away?
England got a lot to do today in the field.
These and let them play out. I mean, those first two were good deliveries. I mean, that was probably the one. Simply battled hard for 18, gave it away. Very good delivery to get rid of Johnny Bairstow. That's a bit of bad luck from Lawrence, although he's nearly
Bad
out
luck,
the
he gets a long way over.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's always in danger of doing that. Josh Butler looked horribly out of touch. And Joe Root, that was a surprising one, really, because he was in form and that was really a half volley on leg stump. So it was very good bowling. There's no doubt about it. But I think you've got to say the problem
England's Test match averages down the list, I mean, Joe Root stands out there, just under that mark of greatness, which you'd say is 50. But you'd say good quality Test match batsmen are averaging around about that 40 mark or just above. There is not one other England batsman averaging more than 40 right now. Is that a concern?
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, you do have to be a little bit careful with averages due to the conditions you play. I mean, when you're selecting sides, you look at weighted averages these days to take into account the quality of the opposition and the pitches. But in truth, when you look at that, that's probably England's least productive batting lineup since probably the late 90s or early 2000s. So you're not... you were a bit higher than that.
Come on, can you stop doing this and get on with the match?
If you're not getting more big scores, more hundreds, and more consistency in your batting lineup. So Joe Root, you know, he's under more and more pressure, and at some stage that's going to have an effect on him as well.
Well, let's have a look since 2019. And again, the averages will be slightly skewed by the fact that England play half their games at home. The ball does a bit more, the Duke's ball, the conditions. But again, suggests England are a bit down the list here.
Yeah, and I think also when you look at that top three performance, those early wickets that we tend to lose on a regular basis, that's just putting that whole batting lineup under pressure time and time again. So the truth is we can't keep doing this. How do we change it? That's the hard thing, and that's an individual game plan thing. It's about batsmen just doing the hard yards and coming through. And eventually, of course, we all know if staying long enough, it does get easier to play in Test match.
Say how can we change it? One idea might be to give these players a little bit more first-class cricket. Josh Butler and Johnny Bairstow come into a Test match in the first week of August, playing their first-class games of the summer. That can't be right, can it?
No, it's very tough on them, and I feel for them. They are experienced cricketers who are very used to changing from format to format. I mean, I think that whole debate around schedule, I think it's a relevant one, but in this situation, it's a bit of a tangent. We're in August now. Most of these guys are playing 7, 8 or 9 first-class games this season, and they've been playing a lot of cricket all around the country. So to use that as an excuse, I think it's a broader, longer trend. I think if you're looking at that, you're looking at excuses, personally.
But you look rusty, didn't you? This is Josh Butler yesterday. Jasprit Bumrah bowled 14 balls. He came in the middle of a very good spell from Bumrah, but he missed 7 of those 14 balls. He looked totally out of sorts. It's not surprising, given that he's playing his first-class knock since February, surely.
Yeah, I know, and he was given a rest after the IPL and missed those early Test matches. Josh Butler in particular feels like a guy who's got to work hard on his Test cricket. White ball cricket comes naturally to him. That was a horrible knock, and he won't be feeling particularly good about himself come the second innings either. So schedules are an issue, but that's always been the case and always will be the case going forward. Very hard to change that.
Quickly, if you're the England captain this morning in that dressing room, presumably not looking back, thinking of yesterday, there is a game to win here.
There was, and they'll be disappointed they didn't take wickets last night, actually. There was overcast, crowd cover, lights as well. So they've got to start well this morning. Anderson's our main man. He only bowled 3 overs last night. He needs to strike early.
Bit of context and understanding, Wardy, hopefully, for what was not a good day for England yesterday.
It wasn't good yesterday, thank you, gentlemen, but they can turn that around with a good performance in the field today. Root needs to be at his best tactically, and England's bowlers need to dig the team out of a bit of a hole because India absolutely dominated yesterday, day 1 of the series.
I love the skill of Test match cricket. I'm so excited to see Test cricket again.
The fans are flooding in for this one. The next 10 tests could define Joe Root's captaincy.
That's a close call. Was it a magic ball? No, he's in there.
Wickets, umpires call.
He's swinging, Robbie. He's swinging. Doing a bit of swing.
Crawley drives, that's his signature shot, really, the extra cover drive.
Perfect shot.
Tight single, a very tight single. Oh, how has that missed?
That is beautifully bowled. Did he get an inside edge?
His umpires call and missing the stump.
There is another one as well. Almost a carbon copy.
I've got a clear spy.
Virat Kohli gets that review right.
lowest score since 1984 for an England batsman in the first session. Oh, he's lobbed it straight to short mid wicket. Fielder in there for that catch. He's obliged.
The perfect start to the afternoon session by India.
Oh, just short.
Take the single and he's going to get himself to a half century, the England captain. The crowd appreciate it as well.
Okay, pitching outside, heading back in line, wickets has hit it.
Overturned. Huge for India.
Yes. Big ball.
What the heck's that?
That's the sound they are looking for.
Collective effort this for India. The pressure on.
Big moment for that young man. And a big moment in the match as well.
Catch that. I think it is.
Well, this is hard to watch at the moment.
Curran goes leg side, and sweetly so. It's a battle against time, isn't it? For that young man. Oh, that'll do this time. India's seamers have been excellent today, and they've bowled England out for 183.
New England. Hard work being a lion.
And there it is. Signal that that is the end of the first day's play of this Test match series between England and India. And it's all gone India's way.
Second better move your stop, just stay still.
If you do what feels right, then own your style. Philips One Blade, your style made simple.
Dear stranger, I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't know you were in a band, or that you're going back to uni. What I do know is that when I have nothing left to give, it's you who shows up for me. It's you who keeps me going. So, dear stranger, really, we aren't strangers after all.
A coffee for lattes that's just called latte. What if everything was this simple? Do you want to get married?
Yes, Taylor's. Great coffee, made simple.
Key is here to answer all your questions on equity release. Where, for instance, can you get some advice you can trust? Key's expert advisors will always give you honest advice that's personal to you. And if equity release is not right for you, they'll tell you. All Key's advice is completely free of charge, so use our free calculator to see how much you can
Maybe
release.
that is cool.
Key, equity release that's right for you.
Excuse me. What year is it, please? It's the 79 you do. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, I just remembered. Pompeii was destroyed in 79 AD.
What's the volcano called?
Volcano.
and Outers. All episodes available now on Sci-Fi.
We got
The EFL is underway on Friday. Bournemouth against West Brom.
We'll be on that video, doing that video on Friday.
With Brentford
I will be
against
gone.
Arsenal. Those games at 7 o'clock.
We'll be still there, so I get time to video that.
Day 2. It's a very good day for the visitors. India yesterday who whistled England out for 183 in just 6
well, here we go then. Day 2 of his first test match is about to get underway.
KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, 21 on the board, but crucially, no wickets for either Stuart Broad or James Anderson or Ollie Robinson, who bowled 4 overs at the end of the day. Difficult day fumble for England yesterday.
What can they redeem it? 183 not nearly enough. Exposed, I would say. Incredible with 3 players. To August having played a first class game. The 2 Indian overs I thought were splendid last evening. Very calm, technically correct. Jimmy Anderson just bowled 3 overs last evening, so he'll start proceedings today.
And the play's about to get underway. Here we go.
Yeah, from Joe Root's perspective, he won't be thinking about what happened yesterday, or at least I hope he's not. The game to be competitive in, the game to win, he'll be thinking about today and the next 3 days to come. Hoping that this great pair of opening bowlers, Broad and Anderson, can get the team back into the game. And for India, the hope will be for Virat Kohli that 1 or 2 of those players who've been a little bit short of form and runners like Pujara and Rahane, given the opportunity, and really show their class. It is an attractive looking top 6 that India have with Rohit, KL Rahul, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane and Pant. Jadeja in at 7, no Ashwin of course, then the 4 fast bowlers. Still a grassy pitch, it's a warmish day, as it was yesterday, with a little bit of cloud cover, so Anderson will be hoping on a ground where he's performed so well over the years that he can find some swing.
So I'm going to do this talk because they'll appear for a bit. I think we're ready. Put them on the channel. We're going to do them in City bit until I come back, okay? We'll do Man City when I come back and I'll put it out.
Lining up off stump.
I'm going to do more videos as well today.
I can go soon.
Just looking at the field, the Root is set for 3 slips. He's got on the offside as well. It's Johnny Bairstow in a rather unorthodox position. The middle of those 3 there on the offside, catching on square, just in front of square. Johnny shaped pretty well today on his comeback into the test team.
Ooh, close.
Good one, and I think KL Rahul was in 2 minds about whether to play or leave. You could leave that on length, it's quite a short ball and you'd expect it to bounce over the top of the stumps. Just wasn't sure, he had a little nibble at it at the last minute, the last second.
Ooh.
It was quite close to the glove. There was a half appeal from Root at first slip.
interested in the carry. Look at the carry through to the keeper.
I know. So close.
Far away from the back, actually, as he looked to withdraw the back, leave it. Occasionally the ball just run off the face of the back, like that. First over safely negotiated, 21.
Still known for the first 4 days here at Trent Bridge to be around about 18,000. Mass exodus last night. People walking back into town. Walk over Trent Bridge.
Although it's up to the 12.
Walk back into town.
At 12 o'clock.
There's some signs on the way. Tricky place called Booches.
It isn't at 12 o'clock, child. I mean,
1 o'clock then.
So it's at 3.
Not to be
You know it means they're up to
the
me.
old firm of Anderson and Broad, instead Polly Robbins. There you go, residents at the Radcliffe Road end.
Do we have 3?
Fine, leave it there.
We gotta keep checking.
They're so calm, these two opening batsmen. The way that they line up on our stump seems to have blanks of time. Very comfortable.
I feel like I've got more.
The defence at this reminds me of one of our old coaches, one of the national coaches, the grand chap Les Lennon. He used to major defence. He'd demonstrate the forward defence and he'd say, get past that. Wonderful chap. Need a defence.
No, says Richard Kettleborough.
That is very close.
Kettleborough's right.
He's tall, isn't he, Ollie Robinson? That will certainly be in an umpire's mind. He's a very tall chap. So it's going to have to be at full length. Otherwise, you'd think the ball would be going over the top of the stumps. What say you, umpire Lloyd? High and leg side?
Straight away. Nothing much going for it. Nothing to interest the umpire, but miss it easily. Just think that in this first few deliveries, the ball's carrying through to the keeper a little bit quicker. As he gets quicker.
Mentioned Les Lennon a moment ago. He coached me when I was a very young boy. He was eternal. Absolutely immaculate. In the Sussex market sweater. Immaculate. Long line of Lenhams playing there. His grandson Archie has been bowling leg spin for Sussex this year at 16
this morning.
India 21 without a loss.